Without further ado, Vex hopped off the couch and took a long step round the catatonic slouch. He cringed at the jiggling lump on the floor as he cautiously weaseled his way out the door. His relief was made brief by the dismissal bell blast, embittered with knowing another dark day half past. Drained of all hope, he sat down in the hall in a melancholy pose with his back to the wall. Hoodie pulled up and head tilted down, cloaking his increasing internal frown. The scent of disaster soon filled the air. In his bones he detected a cold-hearted stare. With a shy, bloodshot eye, he peeped up to find a dark terratoid of the most evil kind. His bane of existence, twice held back to 6th grade, hall-monitoring she-monster, a.k.a. Gank McQuaid. The She-Hulk leaned in, unibrow bulging out. Stiff with fear, Vex felt puke rising up towards his mouth. Its slow-motion fist was surely heading his way. Eyes tight and teeth clenched, he started to pray.
"Rise and shine, little crud,"
growled the 12-year-old hunk, whose breath, by the way, reeked of rotting dead skunk.
"As official hall monitor, I'm delivering you this note."
Then Gank pulled out a card from inside of her coat. She crumbled it up into a tight, crinkled ball, and with a fresh, retched-up loogie hung it up on the wall. Imparting a departing hairy knuckle to his head, took her leave with,
"The next time I see you, you're dead."
Vex peeled off the mucus-soaked memo of scum, revealing a message from dear absentee mom. It was torn from a pad bearing school letterhead, scribed in bold print, and here's what it said. "Dear son, be advised, I'll be home a bit late. Hurry home after school and don't hesitate. I shall meet you there later, with your sister in tow. Have a good day, now I've got to go." By those brief words, he took a deep breath. With a long discharged sigh, through the school doors he left. Cold and alone, he stood on the front stair, neath the darkening sky and the bleakening air. Predicting the worst of all his afternoon jaunts, he trudged forth through the gauntlet of invisible haunts. Outwitting time's haste by slowing his pace, as wind-swept dead leaves brushed past his face. His futile attempts to forestall the night were dashed by the indomitable sunset in sight. The night paid no heed to his plot to belay it. In fact, it did quicken as he struggled to delay it. Dark clouds crossed the sky at a rate most perverse, as a frenzy of crows flew by in reverse. Rot-crackling trees stood guard up ahead, a condemned man's last march that ended with bed. No more could he hold back the pang of dismay in the icy cold grip of anxiety's foray. He blasted for home in a spasmodic skedaddle, 10 blocks in 10 minutes across dusk's field of battle. Through the front door he sped and slammed it behind, took several deep breaths to quiet his mind. Sweat-soaked and palpitating, to the deck he collapsed, a twitch with teeth grating while the panic spell lapsed. No comfort was found in the following sound, the jingling of keys and the doorknob clicking round. Stepping over his carcass with little concern, Mum and Twink passed the floor boy with hardly a turn. Home from her shopping spree, giggly with cheer, Mom torqued the fried offspring with, "How was school, dear?" Her oblivious query was perceived quite unkind. Vex grieved on the ground and replied sickly,
"Fine."
With a twisty twirl pirouette, Twink approached on her toes and appraised her enfeebled bro upside down, nose to nose. Gazing hard, her eyes spun, then she leaned towards his ear and quacked out quite cruelly,
"Why are you so weird?"
Bouncing off in her twinkety-pesterful way, she left Vex to his stupor, keeping madness at bay. In his sleepless head, brain cell receptors were popping, snapping and crackling with no signs of stopping. Nailed to the floor with his senses a-tingling, turned a household of sounds and smells intermingling. Rattling about in his insomnious gray matter, he tuned in to Mom and Twink's late evening chatter. Mom was caught up in her usual duties, speed cooking dinner of boiled mackerel tofuties. The malodorous fumes that steamed from the pot bore putrid puissance that could petrify snot. Tinkering nearby, Twink and Doll, unattended, deconstructing some playthings that they frequently mended. In their easy-bake lab of child-resistant invention, they toiled with toy tools outside normal convention. With an old kitchen knife and rusty broke shears, a concoction of nail polish and old tricycle gears, she reached out with split cords to an electrical socket, no parental supervision whatsoever to block it. "Dinner," Mom hollered, interrupting Twink's play, all the while Vex debating to go or to stay. This place full of madness could hardly compare to the chaos occurring behind his buggy-eyed glare. Conspiracy theories stacked his head with much gore, of scheming dark beings living under the floor, possibly edging their way through the boards to enslave him below among spookiferous hordes. Just as clawed clutches could surround the small stiff, he escaped narrowly in time's nick nigh a jiff. A Vexus-shaped stain was left fading behind on the rug like a post-murder crime scene outline. Vex sat himself down in his assigned dinner chair and gazed at the gruel pile of this evening's fare. With a trembling hand, he forked at the chow and mumbled,
I kinda don't feel much like eating right now.
"But you've got to eat something," said Mom. "You're so tiny. If you lose any more weight, you'll slip through your own hiney." Twink burped and chuckled at Mom's little joke, though the image of this action caused poor Vex to choke. Mom's rant grew less tasty as she began to explain about famished unfortunates on the Serengeti plain. "Children in poor countries are forced to eat flies, while some that I've heard of must cannibalize." Vex slow scooped a glob as to not seem ungrateful, and forced in a spoonful of flavor most hateful. Violent war began waging in his digestive tract between mouth and belly over Mom's home-cooked gack. "While you were at school," Mom said, "by the way, I removed a few things from your bedroom today. All the horrid old comic books, vid games, and more. Your collection of doll heroes strewn across the floor. Every book stretching fantastic imaginative piffle, and the posters and pictures of your creative drivel. Foolish noise-making toys that distract little boys from their studies and chores. What preposterous bores." Mom accounted for this siege with this justification. She'd been guided by a recent highly rated observation. On a 1-hour episode of her fave TV station, a celebrity panel cured her maternal frustration. With one fell swoop of tough mummy love, our twitching young hero was given the shove, stripped bare and left dangling from the cliff of esteem. All was but lost, or so it would seem. Mom's tourniquet tongue took a new turn or two, as many a mom lecture had been known to do. "It's grow-up time for you, little man. I've had all of this nonsense that I'm going to stand. There's no time in the real world for make-believe foolery. No excuses accepted for little boy boo-hooery. All this nasty, neurotic nightmare, crazed calamity is sure to evolve into adult insanity. These nightmare world spookies of your own creation are an exaggerated case of overdosed imagination, easily solved by complete elimination. The time has now come for dreamland termination." Eyes of the right-minded would have then filled with tears, but this disordered lad's orbs concealed more worthy fears. The unending witness to subconscious atrocities, gnawed raw by night terrors of vivacious velocities. Twinged to the marrow of his 9-year-old being, shattered hopeful remains had long been sent fleeing. Oh, impending sleep be far worse than a spanking by which Mom's fury would not be outranking. Thus Mom's many cold words lost their way to his ear, but what she said next was read loud and clear. "Go get ready for bed, now! End of discussion," she announced, unaware of the harsh repercussions. In the boy, these few words unchained fierce reaction that began with a full-bodied muscle contraction. From head to toe, he was taut, tangled, and twitching. Then his ears began buzzing with a nettlesome ticking. From the clock on the wall rang a mocking of chimes that talked a death sentence for the lad's sleepless crimes. Throughout the whole house, every timepiece joined in, their sadistic bells tolling, let the countdown begin. The vociferous chorus blasted its hymn, 8:20 p.m., nighty-night, Sonny Jim. Though their jibing was fierce, Vex would not take the bait. He slogged to the sink and dropped in his plate. Bex turned towards Judge Mum and mewed an appeal, but his plea was rejected with a motherly zeal. Grounding her stance, her expression grew harsh, and she pointed to the staircase and snarled the word, "March!"